Call together, AEP meeting for, April 28th, 2026. We'll have the, pledge and prayer by Reverend Wall.
Let us pray. God in heaven, we're grateful. We thank you again, God, for this day. We thank you, Father, for life. We thank you for health. We thank you for strength. We thank you, God, for just giving us another opportunity, God, to first serve you and to impact and make a difference in whatever our various careers and responsibilities was on this day. We also thank you for having us here on tonight, God. We ask that you just lead our hearts, our minds, our eyes, our ears, God, and guide every single one of us, God, that are part of this meeting on tonight. You ordained it to be, and you know what's needed, and you know the decisions that need to be made in whatever way, form, or fashion. Have your way. We lift this time up to you, and we thank you ahead of time. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
All right, Reverend Wallace.
Here.
Mr. Bumgarner.
Here.
Dr. Washington.
Present.
Mr. O'Banion.
Here.
Mr. Pichon. Here. Ms. Karen Harding Runs.
Here.
Mr. Natale. Here. Mr. Russell. Castillo, I'm sorry.
Here.
Ms. Gay.
Here.
Ms. Fondo. Ms. Ayo. Mr. Tarver. Mr. Brogan. Mr. Roberts, Mr. Hardesty. We have four.
All right, item number one, dismissal of employee dash GBN.
All right. There's gonna be three different things that I'm gonna, policies that we're gonna talk about that kind of deals with the same thing. And what I'm talking about there is, there's a state central registry for Department of Children and Family Services, and you're gonna see a theme through three of these. So I just wanna kind of preface that before I get started. For the dismissal of employees on or after August 1st, 2025, whose name is recorded on the Department of Children and Family Services State Central Registry, they would have to be dismissed if they're on that registry. And that's the change on the first policy. We as a school system are charged to go in, look at this registry with all roughly 5,000 employees and make sure that if they are on there, we have to dismiss them. That's what we're asked to do. So we're working on sifting through that. It's not as easy as it started off to be, because it was hard to figure out how to navigate the registry, but I believe the personnel department has done that. And we now have one person in the payroll and personnel departments that is working alongside Ms. Arsenault, Ms. Hardy, and Mr. Smith to try to accomplish this mission. So that's it on that one.
Any discussion? All right, item two.
All right,
I'm
employee,
sorry, call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
we want to take a long motion.
I'll say.
You could, except for, I think the last,
One through 12.
I'm looking ahead.
Do we have a motion to move on 1 through 12? Do we have a second?
I'll say.
Mr. Calley seconds. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion passes.
All right.
If you wouldn't mind, Mr. Barentine needs to read each one into the record.
Okay, second item, I read the first one, so second item, employee conduct, GBRA. If an employee's name is recorded on the Department of Children and Family Services Central Registry on or after August 1st, 2025, this must be reported within 2 business days, exclusive of weekends and holidays. Again, same thing we were discussing in the first item.
Could you repeat that date after, in 2025?
It's after August 1st of 2025, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I would imagine it would be immediate if something came up
Yes, ma'am.
prior to that was not caught initially.
Good. In this one, they have, if they know they're on the registry, they have to notify us, notify CPSD within the 2-day window.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Right. Yes, sir.
Just in general on this registry, is it only criminal or is it just targeted for other reasons?
What we're seeing, there are 2 lists, because anyone can be turned in for a situation. The list that we're looking at, you have, I guess, like a list where they're investigating, and then you have a list of it's of some substance. That's the list that we're looking at, to where we would have to dismiss an employee.
So the accused has been guilty?
Based off what we're looking at, yes, sir. We're good on that? Okay. Right. The next item is behavioral health support for students. That's JGCF. And in this one,
The Calcasieu Parish School Board may offer mental health screenings for all students in grades kindergarten through 12 during the first semester of the school year. If the school board approves and funds mental health screenings, each school under its jurisdiction shall comply with the provisions of this policy relative to the administration of such screenings. We right now already kind of take care of this in 2 to 3 different areas and departments. And then Ms. Biondini, probably, hopefully, maybe you've seen this somewhere. This goes out to all counselors at the beginning of the year and to make sure that the parents, if they have any concerns as far as a mental health situation, there's some different options here that they can go to and we can take care of that screening if they want.
Ms. Barentine,
Yes,
is
ma'am.
that with, do we still continue to have, under contract counseling services like we did before?
Yes,
How
ma'am.
many do we actually have now? I can remember 2,
Yeah.
but I don't think one of them is with us anymore, so was that one replaced?
Yes, ma'am. I'll be honest with you, I don't know the exact number. I know Ms. Biondini has 2 to 3 different folks that she uses. I know Dr. Coleman with the Title IX department, she has another 1 or 2 that she uses.
Okay.
There may be more, I don't know that.
Well, maybe,
And CWA has a couple.
okay, see, I might be incorrect. I know on several occasions when, we went into executive session pertaining to expulsions,
Yes, ma'am.
we actually gave the parents an option. Many times they chose to do it personally on their own,
Yes, ma'am.
but I do recall that we were able to provide them the services. So I thought it was 3.
Yeah. And we have 3 right here on this form that
Okay,
Ms. Biondini uses for sure.
okay,
Along with CWA and Dr. Coleman,
okay.
the 1 or 2 that they use as well. And that's all I have for that one.
What is the cost per screening?
Well, with
I mean,
this, I
Do we have
think
mental health people on staff that does it?
we have our counselors on staff, and then I think we have, what Ms. Biondini does with these folks right here. I don't know what the cost is, Mr. Castillo.
And we pay that cost for them, for this initial screening?
Depends on the situations, but the initial screening, yes.
And we're not allowed to make any decisions based on the screening, is that correct? Is that the school board?
That is
So
correct.
let the parents know if they're under age majority?
Yes, sir. Right. Notification of school board meetings, BEC, BB. We're actually removing something on this one. I've got to be honest, in 7, 8 years, I don't know how much we've removed things from policies, but we're removing something on this one. And having to submit a notice of each meeting to the Commissioner of Administration, we no longer have to do that. So that's being scratched out for notification of school board meetings. All right. Any questions on that one? Nope. Okay. Next item is sale of surplus equipment, furniture, and supplies, DFM. The school board may sell, trade, or participate in a buyback program as provided by the Louisiana Revised Statute for the purpose of alienating individual computing devices that have been used by students for classwork, notwithstanding any provision of law to the contrary. Also, the school board may use revenue generated from the sale of devices for the acquisition, maintenance, or improvement of technology resources for the school or school district. And there's a protocol they have to follow to make sure that any device that was used by a student is properly erased. And talked to Mr. Caldwell today. We already do this. STS Recycling takes care of our Dell products, and Second Life Mac takes care of all the Apple products. And
So we're already engaged with these two different entities to fulfill this addition here, so. Any questions?
First says the school or the school district, it's either or, or does it have to go through the district? If they recover the outdated computers or whatever of that nature.
Pretty much everything that's out in the district is coming through the.
Okay, because I thought it said something about surplus or something with the school. The funds from the sale of them, maintenance and who was it for, the school
Yes, sir.
or school district, so it's one of the others. But here, it goes through the central district, so that it's tagged as income that might be going into the general fund.
Yes, ma'am. Everything that I just spoke about is through Dr. Caldwell's office over there,
Okay, so it's through,
tech department, yeah. So we're using whatever surplus he gets off of all these older devices to buy new devices.
okay. I just want to make sure it was at one place,
Yes, ma'am.
and the schools have more things to get rid of than us.
Yes, ma'am. No problem. All right. Next is purchasing, DJE. Cassia Parish School Board shall be required to check for excluded parties on the system for award management called SAM website and retain proof of status. CPSD may not contract or award bids to any person or company using federal assistance funds who have been disbarred or suspended from that site. So that's the addition to the purchasing policy right there. Any questions? All right, recruitment, now we're back to the registry again. It's recruitment, GBC.
I do have of course, they're not gonna miss me after today, on the solicitations from small and minority businesses,
Yes, ma'am.
women's businesses. And this pertains to federal funds only, or the district as a whole would be included in,
We try to accomplish that mission in both arenas. Okay.
okay, so, and who makes sure that's done? Do we have like a paper trail saying 2 minority businesses, 3 women's businesses?
Yeah.
What is our way of knowing that that's being done? Because a lot of these contracts that you might enter into are not large enough to come before the board.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
not that much money.
Anything that we have to put out on the website through the purchasing department, we'll have a list of all of those folks if you ever want to look at that. And then also through the maintenance department with Mr. Brown, when we go out, if it's below 10,000, we generally just make that happen. But we also keep a list of anybody in this area that's come and talked to us about different services that they can render. Anything above that, we try to get 3 bids, so we'll always have a bid tabulation sheet for those as well.
I knew about the $10,000 that's at the discretion for the service that they're going to offer.
Yeah, and that's just kind of a local, that's what we, generally, that's just best practice.
Okay, so does that include consultants that we might have contracts with, individual companies that are bidding? And I'm only asking this because I've been asked in the past, how did someone get this contract? And I think it might have fallen under or around the $10,000
Yes, ma'am.
mark when there were local people who could have they didn't see it posted anywhere, so in the discretion area, how do you get the information out there?
Well, I guess I would ask, what are we talking about?
Okay, we're talking about consultants that are going into the school with programs, that they're having. I hear that most of the schools have been very happy with them, but I've asked this before, and I don't even know if this individual still has a contract with the district.
Yes, sir.
Mr. LaFleur with his mentoring program. I don't know if he still has a contract.
He does have a contract.
Okay.
But he works with several of our schools.
Okay, I know through the years, he's maybe 4 or 5 years, he's been working in the
It's
schools.
been years.
So, and I'm sure that he's a minority business. And like I said, I've been asked by individuals who do pretty much the same thing. And they would always ask, well, how did he, and not just him, it's some other name, I just can't remember, get the contract. We didn't know that it was out there, or the school board was looking for something in that particular area. And I didn't know what to tell them. That wasn't during your time, Dr. Van Meter. That was when Mr. Brookhouse was here. And that's how I knew about the $10,000 threshold. But, you know, we're trying, you know, I know plenty of people with consultant business, with educational backgrounds and PhDs and this kind of stuff. And I don't see how we can give a contract, because that's been one of the questions. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm leaving, so I can put it all out there on the table. How did this person get a contract with no educational background? I've taught for 20 years, and I've taught on the university level, some classes in education, and I didn't even know they had this particular contract out there. So maybe we should do better with posting things that would be beneficial to our students, so that at least local people would know about it, you know.
Yes, ma'am. I'll pass that. All right. Recruitment? Okay.
Just a quick question though for clarification. I do understand what Ms. Gay is speaking in regards to, because there are a number. If it's, I guess the question is with those particular businesses, I know we see solicitations, but like if they offer leadership training, development, counseling, things of that nature, is that a different procedure than what this here is and this particular policy covers?
I know.
Or because a lot of individuals that offer services, they have come to us and said, hey, we didn't know that you all were offering. So not necessarily some type of business product, but maybe some type of counseling or something like that. Is that made public when bids go out, or does bids go out, or how is that handled? Federal funds, how is that normally handled?
It's professional service, and this particular change in the policy only is for materials and supplies and that sort of thing. With regard to how the supervisors and so on and so forth purchase those professional services, they can request a RFP or what have you. Although generally it's up to the department head or the person who's developing the curriculum to make that choice.
Okay, so there is nothing that go out to the public, like let's say, if we've been with a certain company for 5 or 6 years that's been providing services, we understand things are good, it works. But there are other companies, there's 8 more companies that could be providing the same services. I know sometimes with state policy and every, 3 to 5 years or so, there's a new kind of spread the wealth, if you will. How do we do that in ensuring with businesses, not necessarily for goods and services of this nature, but those sort of businesses that may offer some type of, like I said, counseling services or whatever it may be, because there are a number of them. How is that made known for everyone to have equal opportunity? Do we have anything on the district level? I know you said that, and not just yourself, I'm just asking for general purposes, because this has been a question throughout the years. But how do we make it known to all service industries of that nature that I'm speaking regards?
I'm just listening back here, sorry. I know how we do it, like, for, maintenance and which I think what your question you're asking, it is up to usually the administrative director or whoever the supervisor might be in charge. I think based off your questions, we can get in the room and make sure that we come up with something and maybe bring back to you, how we move forward to make sure that we check those boxes for you guys and make it look more like what we do in, let's say, maintenance, where we put something out, or at least we notify a broader section of folks to at least give them the opportunity.
And giving all equal opportunity.
Yes, sir.
So when can we expect, or when will we have that information or something maybe put together? And I know we don't want to take the time away, but we also want to make sure that everyone does have equal opportunity in that particular round.
When's the next meeting?
Yeah. Okay. So, budget.
We can shoot for that.
And I know we're going into a new year, ending a school year
Yeah.
in a little bit, but so when can we, how much should we?
Can we promise we're gonna try to get it for you for the budget meeting in June, and, we'll shoot for that.
All right, so do we have a title for it, just researching what in the minutes?
I'm writing professional services. Is what you asked for, yes.
Professional services.
Professional services for maybe what we would say, what type of entities, what the entities we're speaking in regards to, maybe not goods and services, but counseling and other services of that nature.
I don't have another question, but I just like to make I appreciate that suggestion, Mr. Valentine, because I think it will go a long way with, showing that we're very transparent in whatever we do,
Yes, ma'am.
and that we're all inclusive.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we still on recruitment. Okay, recruitment, GBC, a possible employee, name cannot be on the Department of Children and Family Services State Central Registry on or after August 1st, 2025. So again, this is the last item that's going to come up in, or the last policy that'll come up in. Okay. So any questions on that?
Just for clarification.
Yes.
You have 2018.
I know, I saw that. We'll fix that. Thank you. Appreciate that catch. All right. Next item is administration of medication, JGCD. If you're following along, I'm going to be section 8, letter K is what we're adding to this. The school nurse or trained school employee shall have the authority to administer asthma inhaler as defined elsewhere in this policy to a student whom the school nurse or trained school employee believes is experiencing an acute asthma exacerbation, whether or not the student has a prescription for asthma inhaler. At least one employee at each school shall receive training from a registered nurse or licensed medical physician in the administration of an albuterol asthma inhaler. So just wanted to add that. All right. Any questions? Right, next item is emergency crisis management and EEBBC. There's quite a bit that was added in this policy. What we as a district and what all the schools must, what it's outlining is what we in this district and what all the schools must do to be prepared for in emergency situations. It specifies we have to have a district threat assessment team It tells us who the members are on that team. It tells us drills that are required in the first 30 days, active shooter drill being one of those. It talks about trainings, practice, knowledge of emergency plans by the staff that we take care of. Also talks about mapping of sites. We're continually working with OEP, CPSO, all our local law enforcement entities to get better and go through tabletop exercises. We do that quite a bit with all our different entities at our schools. The tech department is working with CPSO, as you guys already know, in their emergency command center to be able to look in at our schools. And what's involved there is the mapping of our schools. The tech department's working on making those maps better for those guys. That way, if we do have an emergency, it's going to be a lot easier for them to navigate when we have an emergency situation. Knock on wood, we don't. Okay. So again, just it outlines quite a few things that we have to do, and we're actively doing those things to try to be ready for whatever situation might arise.
Questions?
All right, next is administrative procedures for cameras in SPED classrooms settings, IDDFC. We already have administrative procedures for this. This is the newest version, and the reason why this had to change, before the parents had to request for the cameras. And at that time, the COO position was written into the policy as basically the person that all this runs through and takes care of the cameras and watches the cameras and basically does all of it along with the tech department and the special education department. Now, the way the policy reads, the parents don't have to ask for it. We have to put those cameras in. So we have over 200 cameras. Well, the COO, whoever that person is, right now it's me, in the future can't, I mean, there's no way to keep up with monitoring 200 cameras daily. So some of the language has been changed in this, and you'll see district representative. And what that's going to allow us to do is to make sure that we're following all the guidelines of the policy. The SPED department is through the SEALS department is adding at least 2 to 3 people to help go in at the different levels to make sure that the cameras are working. We're basically doing everything that we're supposed to do. And then we're working in conjunction with the tech department to make sure that all the cameras are put where they need to be put and just keeping those up to date, everything up to date. If a request is made by a parent, it lays out the guidelines just like they were before for the most part. There are some forms on the back side of this policy for the parents if they want to request. It gives them what they need to say, fill out, the reasons for asking to view the video, how it's done, and basically lays everything out. So, like I said, it's just an updated version of what we already had in place, and the big change in there is that it no longer just says COO responsibility, it says district representatives, or representative, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question. We talked about adding, which is necessary, personnel for that, monitoring these cameras and what have you. And so what budget? I know this is a law now, but would it be SPED or general funding that would come from, or the partnership between the two entities?
It's SPED.
Okay.
It's a couple of program facilitators that are already working, in the system.
Oh, okay. So we're not bringing in new employees with
No,
this
it's not.
restructuring.
It's in-house employees that already know most of the situations that we have out there, and which is good because they know what they should be looking for.
Okay. And so are they monitoring? Is their job, would they be
No,
shifting from one
it's
to monitoring, or what?
Yeah, they're going to do their
Questions
job.
arise from
Yeah.
parents who have.
Sure, they're going to do their job during the course of the day. They've got a system in place as far as when they're going to come in and check and make sure that all the cameras are working at all the different levels of schools that they're responsible for. They come in, they check, they're gonna do a quick check, and then they move to the next one, but it will not be a monitoring thing. We just have to make sure that the cameras are working, because after a 2-day window, we have to notify parents that our systems aren't working if they go down. So we're looking to make sure they're working. They're gonna be looking for probably different things, IEPs are being followed, in the little snippet that they're gonna be watching. And then also if we have a teacher in a classroom or a para aide that might be doing something that they're not supposed to. And that's-
Circumstantial then, pretty much, not just monitoring for the day, but just pretty much if something arises, the parent has a concern, then
Right.
we'll pull that area at time and, okay, got you,
Right.
okay.
They make the request that usually that's tied to a referral, a suspension or something of that nature, that they want to view. And then we go in, we watch, make sure it rises to the level that is outlined in the policy, to whether or not they can view the video.
Okay, we just gotta make sure they operate.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And they're on all day during the school day in all of the special ed classrooms?
They're on during the course of the school day, and they're only in classrooms where students are in those classrooms, in that one classroom, 51% of the day. So basically, you're talking about kids who don't move to other classrooms, maybe very, very minor moves. So
And that's all classrooms that fall under the federal guideline for special
that meet the criteria laid out in this policy, which is if I'm a student at Sulphur High School and I'm in room 222 and I'm in that classroom 51% of my day, that classroom has to have a camera in it.
Okay, with the percentage that require 51% is required.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sure you have more in older students' classes than.
We've got them all over the district.
Really?
Yeah.
With those babies?
Yes, ma'am. Right. Is that it?
How long do we have to maintain our audio video recordings?
30 days, a month.
30?
Yes, ma'am. And that was a cost to the district, but they did give us, the state gave us funds to take care of that cost. To buy the cameras and to pay for the storage up to this point anyway. No, we hope that.
Any other questions?
All right.
Mr. Valentine,
Yes, ma'am.
are we still under that, order where those outside agencies where the students go for counseling and services? At one time, we used to let them come into the school, but didn't we change that where they had to have a specific certification in order to come into the classroom?
You talking about ABA?
Yeah.
Yes, so there's a process. I know, I think we have 2 in the district right now that I can think of off the top of my head. There's a
So
process.
They haven't allowed, I remember there was a big thing where the owners of those companies, we stopped their employees from going into the schools. I don't know if they didn't have all of the,
Well, I think what happens now is, they can come into the schools and they can, do the therapy, that they need. They don't necessarily pull a kid out of math to do with them. And we provide a place for them, in order to receive this.
and pretty much the
There's
time.
there's a process for that. For example, they go through and have to get everything approved before they come in.
I was just wondering if they were coming in again. I
There's-
remember when they could.
There's some that are, this one's just not during, like I said, not during class.
Right. All right, next we have employee and student use of artificial intelligence, EFAB. Right. With this is, again, something new that I think the state and most of the school districts across the, everywhere, we're dealing with new things with the AI. So this is something we wanted to put in place. We want to ensure that all tools used to support teaching, learning, and school operations align with the expectations for using AI within our schools. When you read through this policy, I mean, we talk about access and permissions for teachers and students. We have that covered. We talk about ethical use is covered in here. We want to make sure that we take care of the privacy and security of the data that we have. And the technology department takes care of, of those things. We have robust security measures to protect user data from unauthorized access in the use of the AI tools. Also, we talk about academic integrity, where we can make sure that we hold our students accountable and let them use the technology, but also try to teach them how to use it properly and just do everything the right way. The other thing that this is covering is we can also use this to address new situations that arise, such as the deep fake and non-consensual intimate imagery. We're starting to have some things of that nature where, it spells it out right there. They're using this technology to put pictures and things out using that might use my face. That you can make it look as if I was doing something that actually didn't take place. And all these things, the way we have it listed right there, could be subject to falling under the bullying or sexual harassment policies or other forms of harassment. So we can tie that to our code of conduct in the future, so that when we do run across these situations, that we can hold people accountable. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
I know all this is fairly new to us, but are we gonna have to come up with a way to verify, like, somebody takes a, video, and how do we determine 100% that it's real, or, is there?
I know Dr. Coleman has run across a couple of things already that she's had to deal with. I think Ms. Biandini has as well. I don't know the answer to that one, to be honest with you.
I've just heard the comment made, maybe kind of,
Yeah.
maybe we're joking, but people say, no, that was AI.
Yeah.
So,
I watched a TikTok video the other day. Thank God Keisha's in the office because she helped me out with the TikTok video. But it was a teacher that had posted something, and it had her saying some words, but it wasn't her. She was able to show me how to figure that out. So that she knows way more about the tech than I do as far as all that stuff goes. But I was ready to call the lady in. We're gonna discipline, possibly recommend termination. And then I went from that to kind of pivoting a little bit because I realized she was the one that created the video, but she didn't say those words. So it's brave new world.
Have you all discussed any penalties associated with this, first offense, second offense, once you let them know there is a penalty associated with breaking one of these?
Yes, ma'am. But if they go down that road, because we have it tied with our bullying and sexual harassment policies, those are already in the code of conduct.
Those will apply.
Yes, ma'am. We just follow those.
Well, I'm just gonna throw this out. It has nothing to do with this, but I have a friend who teaches online classes through a university. And I don't think a lot of people know how to use AI, because she says all she does is puts fail, because every assignment that comes in reads the exact same way. So maybe people haven't caught on to what they need to put in AI so that everybody turning in an assignment don't have the same assignment. And she told me, she said you can spot it right away.
Yeah.
And stuff. So maybe everybody should use what I use, computer, but
All right, next thing is disposition regarding a Title IX investigation. This document, you guys have already approved in the last board meeting. Okay, not this document here, but a document with that title. Had a little problem, that came out of the discipline committee, and it came to the board and it was approved. The only problem was it really didn't run by the Title IX coordinator to make sure that everything that needed to be on the form was on the form. So we're bringing it back to you. Dr. Coleman has kind of updated this to make sure that it's meeting all the state and federal guidelines that she needs met, or all the information that she needs met before it gets, gets to CWA for a hearing or anything of that nature. So just bringing this updated version to you to approve for this investigation form.
Questions?
All right. And, yeah, it's all done. So last but not least, let's see. Yeah. All right, the last thing I have is discussion on the rules regarding, oh, I'm sorry. I thought y'all did that initially.
I recall you voted on it before Mr. Barentine started the presentation. Okay. Am I mistaken there?
No, you're right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Item 13, discussion on rules regarding proration. I can't speak. And the surrendering of unearned amounts relative to the supplement. You have that item 9B should be in you should have it up there, and we were asked to bring this to the committee, so I'll turn it over.
Yeah, I just have some questions.
I'll make a motion. All right, discussion. Further.
I just have some questions regarding the supplement and the sales tax, and this is information I don't know if we're not given privy to, but if we can, a list of the recipients of supplemental funds, of the supplemental funds, a list of employees who received funds and left in October, November, December, January, February, March, and April. I like a list of attempts to collect those funds from each person by month, including October, November, December, January, February, March, April. A list of employees that you took money from, who authorized the recoupment of those funds, and what factors determine who returned payment of those funds. Those are questions I have, and I'd like to see if I can get that information.
You're asking for us to give you a list of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you want that right now, we're gonna
No,
gather that for you and get that to you?
I do understand that it's going to take time, but that's part of the information we need to have an adequate discussion about the supplement and what we do, how we proceed from here.
Yes, sir.
Because I know it has been said that the school board authorized these funds to be taken from employees, and I don't recall that unless I missed the meeting, and I don't know. But I just would like to have a discussion about that.
If we look at the fourth section on that document, and whereas this supplement is being provided, continue on, employees completing their respective, scheduled days to be worked for the 25-26 fiscal year. Any employee not fulfilling this requirement is subject to having the supplement prorated by the superintendent and surrendering any portion not earned. This was brought, you guys voted on this, and passed it, and it was, October 7th, 2025. So if we have someone that's on, leave without pay, that's the people that we try to recruit if they didn't work the days. But we will get your list, Dr. Washington, whatever you guys suggest. Yeah. No problem.
So what, I wasn't here at the last meeting, but, what are they trying to get, repaid for what was paid out to individuals that shouldn't have been getting?
All we did was if you did not work and you were on leave without pay, you did not get a portion of the supplement that was given out. Whatever that portion might be, because it might be different for different folks, depending on the number of days that they worked.
So that,
Or more to the point,
so what it amounts to is an error in, it had to be an error if it was given to them and we voted to not give it to them. So somebody,
we gave it to them early in the year, and when you move past that window of time, let's say we give it to you in October or November, we give it in November. You get it end of October, and from the day you get it, you don't work past that. We gave you that amount of money thinking that you're gonna work the entire year. So if you don't work past that point.
yeah, I remember a discussion about if you choose to leave, then I remember that discussion. I thought it was later in October.
Sometimes if we have notice and we know that we have a situation like that, we'll recoup our money. But sometimes people just get the money and they take off. Those situations are a little harder to deal with because we don't even know where those people are.
Right, so how do we, well, let's just forget about employees that are still here, but to what length are we going to go to recoup that money from people who are not here? I mean, what's the plan?
Yeah,
To recoup it for people that are no
I
longer.
get with Mr. Snyder, we definitely send letters, we do emails, we do phone calls, trying to track these folks down. Sometimes we're successful, sometimes we're not. To be honest with you, even if we're successful sometimes, and they've left the system, I don't know how I get that back unless I go to a collection agency or
That's what I'm wondering, because I think one of those people said, no, I worked hard enough, I'm gonna keep this little.
But also remember, we came, I know years ago and talked about collection agencies with you guys, for school funds, and that was pretty much a no-go. So, we just do the best we can do, trying to track this stuff down, and the people that we know that are still with the system that didn't work the days, we recoup our money.
Mr. Natale. Okay, so my understanding is we're basically prepaying early on.
Yes, sir.
And then it's based on you completing the full cycle for the entire year.
Yes, sir.
And if you don't fulfill that obligation, we're calling back.
Yes.
A lot of people have mentioned maybe breaking the payment up into 2 payments. But I don't know how the teacher would feel about that with the teachers union, but that might simplify a lot of things for us too.
I know maybe Mr. Snyder
For
would love that.
situations like that, where we get it, you get one in October and then whenever the other one would be, I don't know what would be the most ideal time. But that would, if an employee did leave, and we did have to take someone back, it wouldn't be near as painful.
Yes, sir.
The other thing I would do is that would allow an employee who added to us in January, right, to receive a supplement in the second half of the year. Because what happens now is if we have somebody that leaves, we turn around and hire somebody else and we hire them, let's say in January. Then right now that person works the rest of the year with no supplement, right? So splitting it up into say an October and a March supplement would actually allow those folks to receive the half of the supplement for the second half of the year too.
I'll make a motion, then this entire board can vote on it, yes or no. I'd make a motion to split the supplement up into two payments, one in October and the other the following calendar year in March.
You know, that would be for next school year.
Or
Yes,
what would be a good calendar date for it? So,
if I did, yeah.
Why don't we do this? If the motion is, and if you're okay with this, Greg, to have the two supplements split, when I come to you in October to line everything out, I always give you the dates in terms of the active dates and things like that, and when they get paid out anyway. I can do that then, and then that'll give me a chance to work with payroll to make sure that those.
And that way, teachers, unions, and the employees can discuss it, reach out, if they like it, I just like it.
I've already spoken to both unions about this, and both were good.
second.
What about the
We're just gonna come back
about
to
the
dates.
Washington?
Well, if y'all go through and do a vote to say, hey, make sure when you come back in October, you have it in two, then what I'll do is when I come back in October, I'll have it in two, because from what I understand, policy is right now that it's one time in October, correct? And so what this would do is change policy a little bit, that way when I come to you in October, I've got those two dates, and then, we can go from there.
Perhaps your motion should be that when the superintendent and staff come back to you with the supplements for the 26-27 school year, that it's divided into two payments at the recommendation of the superintendent.
So can I, Mike, would it muddy the waters to give us two options, one a lump sum or the option to break it up into two payments with those specific dates?
We can, I can do that in October, because what's gonna end up happening is it's either gonna be, you're gonna be in the same situation that we are right now, though, with folks leaving, if we look at one also.
But you just wanted that.
Well, we want to have all in case it's shot down, then we got, then the teachers got, we're scrambling.
Or do you want option A and option B?
Mhm.
One not split and one split.
Yeah.
I can
So,
do
the
that,
motion would be,
I can do that in October, yes,
sure, when the superintendent comes back, we'll have two options, the traditional lump sum amount, and then a second option, if we break it up into two payments, to provide the specific amounts for October's paycheck and March's paycheck.
Yes, sir. And there are things that we already do. For example, I know that when I come to you all in October, it's not unusual to come to you in October and have something approved for March, because we've done that for the last several years. There are some things that we end up paying out, differentiated compensation, right? A portion of differentiated compensation actually gets paid out in the school. So,
It might help the teachers a little bit too, for tax purposes.
yes, sir.
So that's a motion, second. I don't have anything on that, but that's,
Mr. Steele.
Yeah, I would like for us to, the board to possibly think, about not just giving a across the board, supplement to teachers. And so this is kind of my thought process. If you have a 0 to 4 year or 0 to 5 year teacher, the question would be, in a pay scale, they don't get the same thing as a 20-year teacher, right? So whatever that percentage is, we reduce that from the base amount, but also add that to the 20-year teacher or the 15-year teacher to help maybe with longevity of keeping teachers here. So for instance, thinking out loud, you have $7,500, and so maybe a 0 to 4 year teacher, you reduce it by 15%. A 5 through 9 year teacher, you reduce it by 5% or 10%. But an 11, we use if-thens algebraic equations to get the correct amount, but it's say 10 through 14 or whatever it is, gets a 10% increase, and then 21 or whatever gets a 15% increase, or whatever the case may be. But you can also tie it to what is the difference in what is a 0 and what is a 20-year teacher. what does a 0, what does a 6-year teacher, what does a 10-year teacher make, that difference in percentage, and adjust those supplements based on that. Just a thought out there, may help reduce, it may help with longevity. I'm not sure what it would do, I want to just throw that thought out there. Not that we need to vote on it right now, there's plenty of time between then and now. Now and then to come up with something.
I just wanna, that should be easy to do, Mr. Snyder, right? No, I'm seriously asking your input, that would be pretty hard.
I can see a lot of complication with that, even from the standpoint of figuring the amount per person. Along with, I understand where you're going with that suggestion, but, thinking along the lines of teachers, we also have support staff. So basically, any salary schedule where you have a different subset of employees, you would then have to do that calculation for each individual subset. And I think that gets to be extremely complicated.
And do we load the pay lines by job?
On that, we don't, we those pay lines, but not some salaries. So yeah, the amount of lines are probably based on. Yeah.
What I hear you asking for is maybe some way to differentiate by experience.
Correct.
Not necessarily that particular answer, but some way that we can spitball to differentiate by experience.
Correct, that's correct. That's not, it's not a motion, I don't want to make a motion, I just want to throw the idea out there.
Yes, sir.
And I agree, like you said, and I understand where you're coming from. Seems like it would be hard.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Gay?
Yes, I'd just like to say, I think you should come back with multiple suggestions because I would not vote, and I understand what you're saying, Mr. Castillo, but we have to realize that lower teaching age, those 20-year people that would get more, those are the people that are ready to retire. And we're going to take from the people that we want to retain, those young people coming in. If I was a 5-year teacher and you did that to me, I'd say, and I'm still young, I'd say, well, Orange not that far, Beaumont not that far, I'm not married, but we want to retain the young teachers as opposed to rewarding the teachers who could just come to school one day and say, I've had enough. I'm gone. So I don't see that as a true balance in it because we need teachers. We don't want to run the young ones off with an unbalanced kind of system. So I just say, my thing is just come back with some different things that we can decide between. But that's one that I would never support because we'd be running away the people we're trying to get in here. And you can't force the veteran teachers to stay if they're ready to go, and they can go. So that's all I have to say about that.
Before we vote, I just want to understand what we're voting on to bring this to the full board to discuss.
So the only thing I got
Is
is
the motion by Mr. Natale.
Mr. Natale for the split supplement option in October.
And that'll be something the full board will vote on, right? 'Cause I'd like to talk to my teachers and more people about that before I vote either way on that, because I mean, it probably will be split, to be honest, but I would still like to have their opinion and their outlook on it. I know a lot of teachers in October look forward to that big check, and I don't know how they would feel about wanting to split it up.
This is just a committee recommendation. It comes to the full board.
So, y'all, any more discussion on this before we vote? Yeah.
Thank you.
And Ms.
Gay, I agree with Ms. Gay wholeheartedly because, this is something that we have had and that has attracted teachers or individuals to come into the education profession. So if we change it abruptly, then we could lose teachers across the board. I mean, and the thing is, I know we're saying that but is this fiscal management, fiscal responsibility, or we gotta look at both sides, and not only teachers, but this also affects your personnel, period, your staff, your low paid on the totem pole, your custodians, your cafeteria workers, and things of that nature. It affects everybody across the board. We tend to only focus on the teacher pay scale, but we do have other personnel who definitely don't make as much as teachers do. And so we do need to be mindful of the actions we're taking, but I know we're not discussing, I have a question on the resolution, but I know that we're discussing Mr. Natale's, and I'll go back to that after we vote on his resolution. But I'm definitely in agreement with Gay on this one. We really got to think this through and think about everybody across the board. I know that, and also Dr. Washington had a good point. What are the numbers? What are the percentages? What are they looking like? To whereas it causes us to have to make a decision of such right now. What are they looking like? Is it 20, 30 people with a district of 4,000 people? To me, that doesn't weigh. Because if you remember, we had a survey a few years ago about semi-monthly pay, since we're talking about doubling up. But however, we had over 1,000 people participate in it, but it still wasn't enough. And if the numbers of this such looks like 30 to whatever percentage, then that's sure enough people to say, hey, we got to change this. That doesn't build a case at all to me. So when can we get that information to whereas we as a board can make sure to make a decision that reflects our district and the needs of our district? Because if we don't know, then we don't know. We shouldn't just go by hearsay. We may hear, but we don't know the numbers.
You talking about the information that Dr. Washington requested?
Well, yeah, in that, but even with the decision, I know I'm going back to the resolution, but also even with the decision that the motion that Ms. Natale made on that, but just the whole topic itself. That's why we're discussing this anyways, because we're saying we have this many exiting in this month. We need to know. Show us the numbers. Show us the percentages. Because we don't know. And so I can't support something I don't have the facts to support and say, hey, yes, this is an issue for our district. Show me how much money is leaving our district. Show me how much funds that we have retained or that we have. Show me the percentage of the personnel, like Dr. Washington said, that have exited the system and taken advantage of this. And well, I won't say taken advantage, but maybe have benefited from this.
Definitely.
And so build a case to whereas we can make an educated decision so that we can say, hey, to when we're called by the public and the people, we can say, this is what the numbers are looking like. Sure. And this is why, this is what this is causing for our district. So that's what that just to make sure to throw it out there as well.
Completely understand.
Yeah, and I want to make sure to get my point fully across. That's why I get going.
We'll definitely get that information, but can I ask one question?
Mm-hmm.
We are talking about people who we paid money that didn't work. But what we're talking about is, even if I give you that information, we're going to consider paying folks and not taking that money back?
Okay, but see, I know we're not on this resolution, we're on the subsequent, because I also have another issue with this resolution that I know we have to discuss and vote on Mr. Natale's.
It's completely up to y'all, whatever we want. We're going to do what you tell us
yeah,
to do, but man.
Well, I'm only asking a question and just discussing who your losses.
No matter what the numbers show, I guess is what my question to you would be, where we did take the money back, we took the money back for people who did not work, and we were able to do that.
And that was already, the case, understood. Yeah, but remember, this isn't towards you, this is just in general. You're the COO, I'm talking just in general purposes here. So keep this for yourself. All right.
So the intent of my motion was just to basically double check what we're doing, to make sure that we're still keeping whatever the personnel, the teachers, everybody's, for lack of a better word, make sure that we're aligning this supplement that's gonna be best suited for them, right?
Yes, sir.
And if it works out that it's 2 payments instead of 1, if that's what the personnel, the teachers, if that's what the workforce wants, I can support that. But I just thought it would be an easy solution. But if my phone blows up or people start emailing me and saying, hey, I really like that one-time lump sum, then I'm good with that too, but I think we should be double checking ourselves to make sure we're doing what we need to be doing for our employees. That was the intent of
Yes, sir.
the motion. And so,
Keep on, I'm sorry.
I'm good.
Okay, keep on.
So I just need to get some clarification on what we're having issues with, because as you said, these are people who work, we paid them ahead of time. They didn't complete the work that they were supposed to earn the money for. But we have issues that when we go after certain people that aren't getting the money, or that we're having an issue with that we're not going after everybody. I'm just trying to get some clarification of which parts. Do we want to go after everybody, or is that when we go after certain people?
You want me to answer?
Yeah, if you don't mind, just
Okay.
curious, clarification.
Okay, I'll be glad to answer. Happy to. So my problem is you take it from some and not all. You take it from some people who left and you don't. Every month, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, we've got at least 5 pages of people who left our system. I don't know if they're young teachers, I don't know if they're old teachers. I don't know. But I do know that we have 5 pages of teachers and other personnel who left our system. They got in their supplemental check and they left. And I don't know why they left, but they left. Some told us, some didn't. How do I know that? Because I got the calls. Oh, I just have a problem with us taking from some and you're not doing everybody. Are we playing favorites, not favorites? What are we doing?
No, I agree, we should take it from everybody, is what we really should do.
If they leave the district and we don't know where they go, I don't know how we're supposed to handle that.
So I think that's what we need to investigate, is how do we handle that?
Right
And that's-
direction on that, we'll do it for everybody.
All right. I'm just curious, when the teachers sign their contract, is there not a contract we can write up with this supplement in that to say you leave before your service to our district is done? We have the right to come after your money? I mean,
It is in the resolution that y'all approved. I think part of the problem too is when you start getting supplements that are substantial in size, what ends up happening is when they leave, if they owe us back more money, then they actually get paid in a check. That becomes an issue too. So even if we take back what we can't take back all of it, because what ends up happening is they owe us more money than we owe them. Does that make sense? So one of the things that splitting the supplement into a smaller amount does, it makes it a little bit easier to get it back, because you're not trying to recover near as big of an amount.
but then you're punishing the teachers who are in it for the long haul and they expect that big check just because other teachers are leaving. Or not just teachers, it could be support staff or whoever, I mean. That's all I'm just curious if there's any legal way we can go after the money that they owe us if they leave early, because they leave, they know what they're doing for the most part. You get a better paying job, that's great. There's a penalty because you signed a contract, you're supposed to be here.
The problem is when they do sign contracts, we don't necessarily know the amount of something. Does that make sense?
It is also the same problem, even if they sign the contract, if they leave the district. Most times, when some of these folks that are leaving that I'm talking about, there's no exit form, there's no email, there's nothing, they just leave. So even if they sign the contract, I really,
Sure. Mr. O'Banion?
Okay, I'm gonna ask, we call a question on Mr. Natale's motion.
it's good.
All right, so do we need to read the motion again, or is everybody good on the motion?
So the motion was whenever staff comes with the supplement payment in October, to provide us 2 options, a lump sum payment, and then also an option where they break that supplemental payment up 2 times. One, on the October check, that's typically paid in November, and then the other one in the March check that's paid the following month. And then that way we can decide which route to go.
All right, everybody good? All in favor, say aye. Any nays? Motion passes.
That's all I have, Mr. Moore.
Is that it? Okay, need a motion to adjourn? I'm sorry, we didn't have a original motion, did we?
Just touch discussion, but we still.
Did we have an original motion on the 13th besides the substitute?
The finance motion, what's the original?
Okay.
But I think what
I think there's,
Mr. Wallace is asking is that on the discussion on item 13.
Yeah, yes, sir, that's correct. Because we were supposed to be discussing, yeah. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, thank you. All right, so just looking at this, also at the last section, it says, and it be it resolved, or further resolved, excuse me, that request be by employees to make a change to their federal withholding, and we see, you can read it. So this is, did we establish this last year?
Yes, sir, this was October.
Okay, and so how did this work? Has it worked? Has it accomplished its task? And the reason why I'm asking is because we, thinking about it, we don't know people's individual circumstances, and I guess that's where the superintendent comes in. Let's say if there's a loss of a family member, a sudden death, or something of that nature, that they can come.
Yes, sir, and on the withholding side, I think this is more for folks coming in to change their taxes.
Yeah, I understand exactly what it is, but, some may do that for various reasons, and so, but you do have the autonomy to override if necessary, right?
On withholdings?
On withholdings?
They cited that before.
Because people change it and then they change it back, I know, but it's just, yeah.
It's not the superintendent's decision, it's the employee's.
No, I'm talking about the time frame, the timeline, yeah, that's all, just from if it is honored, you see how it reads here, received, I'm not talking about whether or not they have to get permission from you to withhold their taxes, no.
I don't know that.
I'm talking about the dates.
I don't know that I've ever been asked to change the tax status after the cutoff date.
And people know that's been established, right?
Yes.
But if something occurs where people, maybe they need to change or something for whatever reason, is that something that's allowable in that time frame with this year?
I don't know, and the reason would be because we would have already paid them, right? So I think one of the reasons that we set the cutoff date like that.
Yeah, because it is, okay, that
Yeah.
October.
Yes, sir.
First,
So
okay.
what ends up happening is if somebody comes.
But not on the 10th. This would be at the end of October, correct? The October 31st check, right?
Is the payment, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, they do.
You can change.
And they turn around and change, yeah.
That's a tax code, I think that's written into a tax code because, varying circumstances might require you to have to make a change, a divorce. I don't know, the accountants might know down there, but I think with the tax code, if there's a circumstance that's in that tax code where you can change the divorce, I would want to change mine, I would want to file with my husband.
Yes, ma'am.
If I had a divorce. And that's just like insurance. There are, they say insurance enrollment, but if circumstances change, there's something built into the change that if you meet that requirement, you can change over to a different. That's what I always thought.
Yes, ma'am, agreed.
Oh.
And I 100% agree with you. But after a certain time, once this check has already been cut, let's say the supplemental check has already been cut and the taxes have been taken out of it, any change that you make, the way I understand it, would be on any subsequent checks after that, right? So in other words, you're changing how much we withhold on checks that would happen after that supplement has already happened. I think what this is put in place for is to make sure that we don't have people flooding payroll in order to change withholdings, and then as soon as it ends, change back, and that's what happens. So, So, but you're right, they do have, they do have the
They
ability.
make enough to be bouncing back and forth, that's a lot of work to do for them.
It's all over the table.
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
I have a question. Real easy. Just, since I'm full of harebrained ideas here, why can't we take whatever their supplement would be and give them back pay retro to, what is it, July, August, September, we pay them in October, for those 4 months. So in other words, if it's 85.70, we take that, we divide it by 12, and then in October, when we know what the figures are, we give that to them, and starting in November, they get the additional 12th of it, instead of doing a lump sum supplemental payment, payout. I mean, personally, I would rather pay off a credit card during the month, with that extra money, or be able to buy a car and have that car payment, something along those lines. Just another, like I said, harebrained thought. You're accomplishing maybe what some people want is the extra money each month versus the lump sum. If they want the lump sum, then they can save it monthly and pretend like they get it once a year.
Advantage of money, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, just throwing another harebrained thought out there.
I'm just gonna go ahead on that harebrained idea. I know there's a lot of teachers that have personally told me they've been able to stay afloat because of these payments, been able to, have a rec or pay medical bills. So them not getting at least, I'm okay with 2 lump sums, but putting up to 12, I think that's gonna be a really rough on Mr. Snyder and on the teachers.
It's basically having to calculate everybody's pay amount each month, every month. That's,
Well, don't we give a supplement, isn't there a line item that is a supplement now?
there is a portion of the salary that comes specifically from sales tax revenue, so it's broken out as a specific item, line, that our system automatically calculates based on the contract days, based on the days worth of employee's contract. And so, while that can happen automatically, and it aligns with the salary schedule, right, that are built into our system, this is not that way. This is a very manual calculation.
That's why I
individual employee gets.
And one thing that Mr. Snyder's not saying too, is he and the wizards who help do payroll, do a lot of prep work in that October month, in order to make that happen. And so to do that every month would be
That's why I asked.
it's a good idea. They both have good ideas to implement it.
We're just discussing right now, right?
Yeah, but just a quick question, I guess, of discussion. And it kind of goes along with the motion that was passed by Mr. Natale. Well, is it possible? Because we're sitting up here as 15 members to 4,000 plus personnel to do a survey about, hey, twice a month, once a month, with your, like we did the semi-monthly pay. We're not gonna go back there, I'm just gonna put that out there again, But however, at least you would hear from the staff, because we don't know all of their situations, it's just us up here. And we only hear from a select few, but this would better reflect the needs of personnel than just us saying, hey, this or that. Because I see the just, and I see the, both sides of it, but however, why not a survey to where we can really survey staff, but this time everybody would actually get the survey and be informed about it.
No, there's nothing going on.
I'm just asking, I'm just talking, we're just discussing it. It's just, and that's an idea. Hey, we survey everything already. We're about to do some surveys for the end of the year to make sure that we did what we were supposed to do, just like an evaluation, if you will, I mean, something that, I know it has to go before the board, but this is just going,
So you want us to get a survey out to all employees?
well, this is,
Recommendation was? With the two options?
I mean, with the two options, but I know we have to bring it back before the board. I want to make sure that we follow
Yes.
procedures appropriately and by policy.
I got a question for y'all, and I know.
Mr. Michelle, I'm next.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just see that's the moment.
Mr. Baratime, I have a question about, the employees who are like on sick leave. Is it a certain, I'll say maternity leave?
Yes.
So if I get the bonus in, the end of October,
Mhm.
and I have maternity leave in December, so, and say my child's, like, something's wrong, is it certain leaves of absence that you're taking, not you, but we're taking the money back, or it's just period, when you out?
The only, please correct me if I'm wrong, just saying, the only folks that we're even, looking at would be anybody that's on leave without pay. 'Cause
Leave without
those
pay.
folks are considered, a non-active employee, so anybody like what you're talking about is still an active employee, 'cause that's a maternity leave or sabbatical in those situations.
As long as they have the day.
As long as they have
the
days. So the people who are affected are the ones who don't have days,
Correct.
already.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And those are the hard ones, I mean, the ones that resign, just take off. I see you shaking your head.
Yeah, and I'm saying that because-
Tell me who we got.
I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
that we were told we were paid in advance, a month in advance, which is not true.
What are we talking about?
I'm just saying, if you are on leave without pay, and funds were taken from your check, and it was told that it's because we pay in advance every month, which is not true.
I don't know about that. I'll let Mr. Simon do that.
No, we're absolutely not paying a month in advance.
Absolutely
And
not.
that is a common misconception. But we're not paid a month in advance. We're paid for the current month that we work in. Our absences are posted, a month behind. And so that's sometimes where that confusion comes in.
Anybody else?
Go ahead, Ms.
I do
Dunn.
have something
Are we-
else. I'm an educator and I work in multiple districts. And I just want to say that, Mr. Castillo, there are districts surrounding us that implement the model that you're talking about, where we take a percentage away for those with less years of experience. It's not a substantial amount, but it's a small amount so that they would know we need you back. The whole point of talking about splitting the supplement is to retain staff. It is to retain staff because when our teachers leave, after we've trained them and invested so much money in their development, after they leave, we're the ones that lose. Our kids are the ones that lose because they don't have a certified person or a qualified person or a trained person in that classroom. So that's the whole purpose of doing the splitting the supplement so that we can retain staff. Also, I know the district in which I work, if you've only been there for 0 to 2 years, you get a supplement, and those people are grateful for it. They are. But if you've been there 12 and 15 years, because you have those years of experience and that knowledge, and you know how to get the kids where they need to be, they get a bigger check. And that they are grateful for. So I don't want to discount what Mr. Castillo said, even though it sounds like we do want to keep those young teachers. We do. But we also want to retain those seasoned people, because when you lose those seasoned people, you're losing a part of our district.
You're talking about loyalty there too,
Yes, I am.
to the system.
Like I said, I just throwing it out there, it doesn't have to be the percentage.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the percentage, but it's
Same
something to
age,
think about.
Same years of groups, it's just
Mhm.
another
thinking out there. You know,
Right.
Like I said, I wasn't trying to make a motion or anything, I'm just
Right.
trying to.
Thinking outside of the box.
Brainstorm, yeah,
Mhm.
outside the box, there you go.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Kelly.
Got a motion to adjourn?
Okay.
Second by Dr. Washington. We're adjourned. No opposition.